If your grocery bill is still beating you like you owe it money, blame Donald Trump. People have said, oh, when Trump lifts the tariffs, the prices are going to go down. No, they won't. The damage is already done. It's too late.
Hi guys, welcome back again to another video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to watch my videos. If this is your first time here, my name is Julie. You are welcome to Julie Harrison Reacts. Don't make it your last by subscribing. These videos are trending right now on social media that Donald Trump has officially taken off tariffs on over 200 items. This is going to help lower the cost of living, and people are reacting. Why put it there to take it off later? Make it make sense. I'm going to let you guys watch the videos that is trending on social media, and they felt like he has lost his credibility as the president. Please let me know what you think about this whole thing in the comments. Before then, disclaimer: this content does not in any way promote conflict. This is really for educational purposes and of course creating awareness on the recent trends happening on social media. Let's watch these videos.
The president announced on Thursday that he was set to roll back the tariffs on nearly 200 items, including bananas, coffee, and beef, that he instilled on those products earlier this year. And as an economist, I want to talk about what's going on, what might be the implications of this, and what to expect. Because the president said while he was boarding Air Force One in discussions with reporters that these tariffs, which also include price hikes on things like fertilizers, cocoa, paprika, acai berries, that these tariffs did indeed raise prices, but also that the US virtually has no inflation, which is interesting. Now, this announcement came in partnership with a trade deal made with 4 Latin American countries, where he instilled a 10% tariff on goods from Argentina, Guatemala, and El Salvador, and a 15% tariff on products from Ecuador. However, notably, he removed the tariffs that were explicitly on products that were not produced in the United States in sufficient quantity. Because here's the thing, right? Tariffs aren't inherently a bad thing. They could, in fact, be a good thing in very specific particular instances, right? So, for example, a country might use tariffs if they have higher environmental regulations than, say, another country that can produce a product cheaper, but also like has a lot of emissions that might hurt the environment. So a country might levy a tariff to protect that development of that industry in an environmentally friendly way. They might also want to levy a tariff to ensure that a country can produce critical goods. We think about this a lot with semiconductors. But here's the thing, and to be quite honest, we've seen this numerous times throughout US history. We are essentially right now repeating the mistakes that we have seen throughout the 1920s and the late 1800s. When you levy tariffs across all products without any sort of distinction, ultimately that harms consumers, right? Because, and I've said this in several videos, tariffs are a tax that ultimately gets passed on to consumers through higher prices.
A couple of things that Trump has boldly lied to all of us about. One, he said, no, the consumer doesn't pay the tariffs. The distributor does, the other country does. But then the other day, he pulled a taco move, right? Trump always chickens out. And he removed a bunch of fruits and vegetables and things from the tariff list. And he did this, as he even said, to make things more affordable. But before, he said it didn't have any effect on our economy because we weren't the ones paying for it. Well, then why did you just lower them the other day? You chickened out on your tariffs, and you just lowered a bunch of them the other day to make things more affordable. And the other big lie is he's gone on and on to say that the Epstein files were a Democratic hoax and they were nothing. There was nothing there. Pam Bondi said that they found nothing. And now he told Pam Bondi to investigate to see what Democrats are on there. And then he told the Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files that he claimed were a hoax. He's not a very good liar. And really, do we need a president who lies constantly? If you're going to be a liar, you got to be a really good liar, because there's a lot of receipts left behind, videos and such, and you got to go cover your tracks. But he never does that. He just goes like this late at night, and he trips himself up and contradicts himself. And this, I believe, will be his undoing, and I think it's coming real soon.
Well, America, he has spent the tariff money. I believe he has spent the tariff money. I also believe he spent the SNAP money. I believe we have spent so much money that we are going to be broke. We increased our national deficit $1 trillion in 30 days. We're giving $1 trillion to the military, $170 billion to Homeland Security, $1 billion to overhaul a Qatar jet, $40 billion to Argentina. We only bring in $5 trillion for taxes every year. I believe we are going to be broke. Let's not forget about the White House, the golfing, the $49 million birthday parade, all the public events, the Super Bowl, the NASCAR. I really think the USA is going to be broke. He has gone bankrupt 6 times, including bankrupting a casino. He was broke before he came in office. He has squandered an inheritance. I think we're going to be broke. Tell me I'm wrong.
If your grocery bill is still beating you like you owe it money, blame Donald Trump. Because I know y'all see that everything costs more. Egg, meat, clothes, appliances. Quiet as kept, even ramen is out here acting like it graduated from private school. People have said, oh, when Trump lifts the tariffs, the prices are going to go down. No, they won't. The damage is already done. It's too late. Donald Trump triggered a trade war when he started implementing tariffs all over the place. And those tariffs, they were a tax on Americans, not China, not foreign companies. He lied. It was a tax on you and your family. You know, the working class folks, the people that are trying to stretch a paycheck like it's in yoga class. And y'all got to understand, in capitalism, once the prices go up, they don't go back down. The companies know that you'll pay more. So why would they give it to you for less? And technically, Congress is the only entity that can tax the American people, not the president, not the man that folds faster than a cheap card table at a family reunion. So now for the rest of us, prices are forever changed. Your wallet is forever skinnier. Your grocery cart is forever emptier. Also, Donald Trump could throw a tantrum. So thank you, President Trump, and thank you, MAGA voters, for making everything permanently more expensive. Y'all really delivered, just not in the way you think.
Good news is Donald Trump is keeping his promise to lower prices at the grocery store. Yes, you heard that right. Guess what he is doing? He is taking the tariffs off. Things like beef, fruits, coffee, things that we import. And what a great guy that is to undo his own fucking tariffs. He started the fire and put it out and is going to get credit because MAGA's going to say, thank you so much, President Trump, for lowering our grocery. He put the tariffs on the food in the first place, and you knuckleheads paid for it. I don't give a shit if he sends out $2,000 checks. Newsflash, spoiler, he won't. I don't care if he does, though, because it's the money we've already paid. We paid all that in higher prices. And now what he's doing in a classic Trump move is he is taking the tariff off like 200 items to help lower the price of groceries. Who put those prices there, you son of a bitch? Like, I don't understand how MAGA is so dense that they cannot understand that he punches them in the back of the head and is then the one to pick them up. You don't get credit for that. I don't care if the prices all come down because he took his tariff off. That doesn't mean anything, but we live in a country with some of the dumbest people I have ever encountered in my life. To be a Donald Trump supporter on November 17th, 2025 is absolutely insane. The man is ripping you off every day and then takes a little bit of that off, and then you want to praise him for not ripping you off so much. Get a grip.
So now, even Trump says it's hurting us. Yep, so now even Trump's saying it. This immigration crackdown, it's hurting American workers. Farms and hotels, construction sites, they're all short-staffed. You feel it in the grocery store. Your crew's down a guy, but, the job's still got to get done. And here's the part that nobody wants to admit. When they round up undocumented workers, well, the elites, they don't suffer. You do. Your hours go up, your schedule gets stretched, your paycheck doesn't. And they call that protecting American jobs. But how many of those jobs are sitting empty? Meanwhile, you're working double. And they're telling you, well, it's patriotic. Hey, maybe the policy's right. Maybe the timing's wrong. But even if Trump is saying it's hurting the economy, who's actually paying the price? You decide, is this really protecting us or just punishing the people doing the work?
Yo, Trump, question. And, I mean, no, we're friends, for real, bro, but what the heck is $2,000 gonna do for anything in today's economy? Just 2,000, just like that? Why not at least 10,000? How about that? $2,000 in today's day age, that's $1. That's not enough, sir. I'm sorry. We can't do anything about no $2,000. That's rent money.
Trump announcing that he's rolling back his own tariffs on various food products because America is rapidly becoming unaffordable for people to live in is kind of proof that the tariffs didn't work in the first place, no? With all these various other Ponzi schemes that Trump is announcing, 50-year mortgages, which means you'll pay off your house when you're 90, $2,000 rebate checks for tariff revenue, even though tariff revenue is like a couple $100 billion, so they'd actually have to go into debt to pay those. Like, bro, just admit you're cooked. Trump announced so-called Liberation Day with the explicit message that tariffs were going to fix everything. They were going to bring jobs to Americans, they were going to bring manufacturing to America, they were going to make things cheaper for Americans, they were going to pay off the national debt, they were going to fix your ED. 6 months on from that, the American economy is held together with AI investment. All of America's trading partners now explicitly do not trust the US anymore, and Trump is having to roll back his tariffs in order to make it affordable to live in the US. This isn't even taco, this is just collapse. If you enact a policy and then need to undo it because it's proven to be unsustainable, that is a failure. That is an admission of failure. The MAGA cultists that are clinging to this kind of news as a massive development that Trump's fighting for Americans, there's no point even engaging with them. Trump's obsession with tariffs predates this administration. He was talking about this while he was on the campaign trail. This was his only plan for America and it's failed. It's the Ponzi schemes, hence literally undoing those tariffs. Be surprised if we see even more tariffs being undone in the future and that being marketed as great innovations for the American economy, and it's just Trump and his ghouls realizing that they've massively messed up and are now desperately trying to repair their relationships with the rest of the world. That's going to work at this point. Follow for more.
So this is something that's been bothering me for a while, and I figured now would be a good time to talk about it. I'm wondering, maybe Trump's not the hero we all thought he was. Maybe he's not the savior. Maybe he's not the shining light we all needed to save this country. I got thinking about all the shit going on with the Epstein files and porn stars. See, there comes a time in your life when you decide what kind of person you want to be. Now, I'm almost 50 years old, and I've never hung out with a porn star. I've never put myself in compromising situations or hung out with fucking people that were pedophiles. If you're an honest, God-fearing man, if you're just a good human being in general, why would you ever hang out with somebody like Epstein? Why would you ever want to be associated? But it's not even Trump, it's Bill Clinton, all these other fucking idiots that are hanging out with Epstein and on his plane and on his island or whatever else they do. But why would you associate yourself with a person that hangs out with underage girls and does terrible things with women in general? Why would you associate with that? And why would you be associated with a porn star? Seriously? He's a grown-ass man with a lot of money. A grown-ass man with a lot of money, or even if you're fucking broke, if you're a good human being, there's no reason why you should be hanging out with a guy like Jeffrey Epstein. There's no reason why you should be associated or be named or be taking pictures holding Bill Clinton's balls and that picture I just saw. Why would you do such stupid things? Have some morals, have some brains, use your fucking head, and don't do stupid shit. Because all of this is stupid, because any normal person wouldn't be dealing with all this right now. Wouldn't be dealing with Bill Clinton, the Epstein files. It's just not normal. And like I said, I don't know what the fuck to think anymore. And everyone says, oh, but the pictures don't lie. Grabbing Bill Clinton's dick, hanging out with Epstein, biting his lip, holding on, putting his arm around young girls. It ain't normal. Any normal, good human being, any normal man, don't do shit like that. And I'm sorry. I say things that a lot of people don't have the balls to say, and it's fucking true. And if I had a friend that was doing that kind of stuff, I'd unfriend him real quick, because I wouldn't want to be associated with that kind of stupidity and just fucking, it's just bad. It's just not fucking good. And any normal person knows that. And that's the fucking truth. And you can hate me if you want to, but it's the fucking truth. It's fucking disgusting.
President Trump just cut tariffs on all kinds of things: fruit, spices, nuts, coffee, and beef. Obviously, he is recognizing that your grocery prices are too high, even though this is what he said about it publicly just last week.
I don't want to hear about the affordability, because right now we're much less. We had the worst inflation in the history of our country. Now we have virtually no inflation at all. It's down at a very low number and a very normal number.
While the president doesn't want to hear about affordability, it's clear he knows it's a problem, and perhaps that's causing him to rethink some of his tariffs. Just a short time ago, President Trump signed this executive order that eliminates the reciprocal tariffs on a whole list of items. But why? Well, the executive order says it's because of lots of things. It says Trump received recommendations from his staff. It says the status of trade negotiations have improved. But it also clearly says it's happening because of the current domestic demand for certain products and the current domestic capacity to produce certain products. Among other things, I have determined that it is necessary and appropriate to further modify the scope of products subject to the reciprocal tariff. Specifically, I have determined that certain agricultural products shall not be subject to the reciprocal tariff. That means he now realizes the demand for these grocery items is high, and in lots of cases, these items are not able to be produced in the United States. So when the cost of living is generally so high, specific tariffs on things we can't produce here don't make sense. The executive order comes with this annex document, which lists all the products that are no longer subject to Trump's reciprocal tariffs. And there's definitely a theme here. There is a reason why these specific items are now being cut from Trump's tariff list. Let's talk about bananas. Only a small amount of bananas are grown in the United States. We mostly import bananas from Latin American countries, so they were subject to those reciprocal tariffs. Well, according to the most recent inflation report from September of 2025, bananas were nearly 7% more expensive this year than they were in September of 2024. And if you now look at the annex, there you go. Bananas are no longer on the list of items subject to Trump's reciprocal tariffs. Let's talk about beef. There's a lot going on with beef right now, and you can make all kinds of excuses about why it's expensive, but I'm not here to make excuses. I'm just here to show you the numbers. The fact is, we do produce a lot of beef in the United States, but we also import some of it. So that imported beef was subject to the reciprocal tariffs. So according to the same September CPI report, take your pick. All kinds of beef is up since last September. Uncooked ground beef was up nearly 13%. Uncooked beef roasts were up nearly 18.5%. And uncooked beef steaks were up more than 16.5% over September of 2024. And there you go. Look at the list of the types of beef that is no longer subject to the reciprocal tariff. 2 full pages of it. And then there's coffee. We do not produce coffee in the United States. We import the vast majority of the coffee we use. Because coffee was an import, obviously it was subject to Trump's reciprocal tariffs. And as a result, in September of 2025, the CPI report found coffee was up almost 19% compared to September of 2024. And here you go. Coffee is no longer subject to the reciprocal tariffs. According to today's White House announcement, Trump's order is backdated to yesterday, November 13th. That means if any of the items on the annex list came into this country as of yesterday, they will not be subject to reciprocal tariffs. Now, it is definitely possible without these tariffs, the prices on these items will eventually start to come down. But by how much? Don't forget, prices on groceries started out more expensive, and then President Trump came into office and added the tariffs on top of that. So even in a perfect world, if the tariffs just sort of fall off and the prices come back down to where they were the day Trump took office, the question is, can they go down below that price we were paying in 2024 before Trump took office? unlikely, but we will have to wait and see. So if you want to see this list of items that are...
At this point, Americans are literally tired of this orange man. They felt like all the promises he gave them, all the agendas, everything he told them during elections were all bluff. Like he bluffed. Like there was literally nothing truth about it. You know, ever since he's been there, he has been giving them rooms to talk bad things about him. Like he made abusing him very easy. He made talking shit about him very easy. Let me not use the word abusing, right? Because of course he's still the president. And I kind of get it because, see, Americans, they've tried so much to manage SSs. Donald Trump is doing too much at this point. The last time he talked about SNAP benefits, and even when he was asked to bring it back, he was still having back and forth with the court. How can you say that court decides whether SNAP benefits will come back? And then when court has officially told you to bring those SNAP benefits back, you still bluntly ignore them? You know, now he is sharing why he needs to take off some tariffs on over 200 items, which includes coffee and all that, beverages and all that, because he wants to lower the cost of living. He has seen that people are reacting that living alone is very terrible. Even the $2,000 that you'll be awarding to people for all those bullshit, and people are talking about that. What does it mean? That right now in America, 2,000 USD is just equivalent to then like $100 because of the massive cost of living, right? So it is all shit out there. Now he is announcing that he wants to scrape off some tariffs. Why are you scraping it off? Right, you put it up before and now you want to scrape it off. So why did you put it to take it off later? Why are you playing with the minds of people? People are crying out on how they think that he has squandered the SNAP benefits money. He has squandered the tariffs money. He has been like, this is actually bullying and maltreating the people that you are leading, you know. And this reminds me of the attitude he put up there during the No Kings protest, where he made an AI video that he posted on Twitter, where he was seen dropping poops on the heads of protesters. That's one of the most disgusting thing up until today. I can't stop talking about it because I did not see that coming and I did not in any way expect such from him. How can you put up a video? People were protesting No Kings, and you, as the number one citizen of the country, what you did was you made an AI video to drop poos on the heads of those protesters. Is it trying to call America a shithole country? I don't know. I don't understand. So now, him announcing that he wants to take off some tariffs from over 200 items to lower cost of living. What people are concerned is that they feel like, in as much as, yeah, it's a good news, of course, the cost of those items would be drastically low, but why do you put it up there first? You've taken a lot of money from Americans. He has taken some money from them, both the SNAP benefits and all that, only for him to come back now to reverse it. Like, I don't know. I don't understand. And I can't understand where they're coming from. Their points are valid. And, you know, America is not where you play with. You have to explain to them. You have to make it make sense to them. So they are dragging him right now. The orange man is being dragged massively, especially on TikTok, and people are talking about it. So let me know what you generally think about the actions of people. What do you think about the 200 items that he took off tariffs from? And how long do you think this is going to last? Do you think he probably might bring back the tariffs next year? Because it is obvious that this man is literally playing with us. I'm going to end here because I want you guys to tell me what you think in the comments. If this is your first time here, my name is Julie. You are welcome to Julie Harrison React. Don't make it your last by subscribing. And I'm going to see you all in my next video. Please stay happy, be kind, and be blessed. Bye, guys.